Welcome to this episode of ACG's GrowthTV. I'm Katie Mulligan, and I'm joined today by the co-founders of We Are Bill. I'm here with Scott Roslyn, CEO, and Chris Schwartz, Chief Creative Officer for the company. Let's start with you, Chris. Can you start by telling us what curiosity means to you and why this is such an important attribute right now?
Yeah, absolutely. We believe great answers begin with great questions. And so at the heart of a good question is curiosity. And we would define curiosity as kind of an eagerness to uncover something new, something valuable, something you might not have expected. So in our case, whether that's really wanting to bring value to a consumer, a client, or any specific audience, it really begins with that curiosity, that non-judgmental exploration into what there is to be discovered to really help make sure we're asking the right questions to get those right answers.
And Scott, can you say more about how you guys put this into practice at We Are Bill?
Absolutely. So at We Are Bill, we always think about what makes for a great company and a great brand, and how do you build that? So great companies first think about what is it that makes them unique? What is it that makes them right for their audience? Part of that is vision, and part of that is connection. And connection is so critical to how a company shows up, how they resonate and become relevant with their target consumer. And they do that first by listening, by exploring, by understanding who is that audience, what makes them tick, and how do they really immerse into the challenge that they might be solving for that audience. Secondly, great companies can really metabolize change. They know how to adapt, they know how to adjust. And in order to do that, you need to really understand what is it that you're solving for. And so we do that through an exercise, as Chris mentioned, of listening. First, you need to listen, you need to unpack, explore, and really excavate what is that opportunity for that audience. So whether it's a global brand like AB InBev working with their technology innovation team, a manufacturing company like Velo3D ahead of their IPO, even consumer brands like Rhone, Owen, M1 Finance, Premier Lacrosse League, each of them were facing opportunities to resonate with their consumer base. And so for us, what we do is we think about what are the questions to ask and what's the forum to do that. So we begin with attitudinal, behavioral, psychological studies around that consumer audience. We also do global, multi-person indexes and studies around their audience. And so all of that helps us to get really close to what's the consumer's challenge and how do we really solve it for our clients.
And Chris, I know We Are Bill works with a number of private equity and venture capital clients. So for an investment firm that's looking to put some of these curiosity principles into practice to drive value for their portfolio companies, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of these companies we find start by looking for kind of the hard data points, right? ROI, volume, what can be maximized, what can be minimized to maximize profits. And we think that curiosity allows you to ask the question behind the question. So why are the consumers buying? What are they engaging with? What are they getting out of it besides a product, the emotional benefit, things like that. And so for us, curiosity is that ability to dig deep and really discover those things. And again, get to make sure you're asking the right questions, which ultimately comes back and affects those kind of hard data points, even though it begins with those softer data points of brand affinity, again, emotional benefits. Is the brand communicating verbally the right way to the customer, visually to the right way to the customer? Are they engaging with them on a level that the customer is looking for to grow awareness, a larger audience, and to connect deeper with that audience to create more brand affinity and commitment to the brands themselves?
I love that phrase you use, question behind the question.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's so important and oftentimes just overlooked and not thought about. And oftentimes we find a brief might be giving the wrong questions when we're working with the team. We'll start by asking, thinking they need one thing, but again, a curious approach allows us to keep digging deeper, not stopping with one answer, but just keep looking until we're like, okay, actually, this is your real problem. This is what you're really looking to solve, and this is the hurdles you're actually trying to get over. So we think it's immensely beneficial and just a great way to live life, period.
Great. Thank you so much for joining me on GrowthTV.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for watching this episode of GrowthTV.